The society was started probably back in 1991, and it came from a need. It was simply, this building was for sale. The Atlantic Coastline had said, we don't need this depot anymore, and it certainly was already empty and vacant and not being used. It probably hadn't been used since the early 1960s. As a child, I can actually remember coming up here one time with my dad and picking up freight, because that's pretty much what it was a freight train station at that point. We have other people in this community that can tell us about coming here and getting on this train and going to Tampa to shop. And I always thought that was a fascinating story. Can you imagine going from here, go down to Tampa by train just to shop for the day? But when we found out this building was for sale, and I wasn't a member back then, I think people envisioned, oh no, horrors. Oh, they could destroy this building, tear it down and just become a CVS or a Burger King or something. So they wanted to preserve this history that we had here in this building. And so they started fundraisers and worked hard. Ended up able to buy this building in just 1 year. Now, at least they had gotten the down payment. The Coastline people were really good about working with us. I don't remember what the cost was. The money was raised, and then after that, they had to make the mortgage payments on the building, so to speak. So that's kind of the reason why it started. Now we find ourselves doing fundraisers and stuff to continue to support the building. But with our murder mysteries, that fundraiser that we've come up with, that has taken it and made our lives a lot easier, because we're able to make a decent chunk of money at one time, just one weekend, as opposed to doing small things throughout the year. It's also important to realize too that people can rent this building. We've had weddings in here, we've had baby showers in here, we've had all different types of birthday parties, anniversary parties. This building lends itself to many different types of parties. I think our society, what are our goals? And it's to preserve the history and to remind people that Dunnellon was a significant place at one time in terms of moving phosphate, which is what was discovered here, and moving it on down the waterways and down throughout the coast. There's other buildings in Dunnellon that are very historically significant, and I'm always hoping, I know it's my personal aim one of these days, I'm afraid the city of Dunnellon is going to decide to sell the fire department, and that is one very historical building that I'm hoping that we'd be able to have the funds to say, okay, we're going to buy that building. One of the projects that we're working on is we're reminding residents of Dunnellon is on the historic register. Many of our homes is. There's a section of Dunnellon over behind, over on Pennsylvania Avenue and over across down to McKinney Avenue. A lot of historic homes. And we've got plaques that we're putting on these homes now. And we've had to, write permission to the property owner and say, hey, will you put one of these? Can we do this? But it just reminds people that this home was built like in 1918 or 1902. And so we'll be working through the society putting these. The city of Dunnellon is also cooperating on this and helping us fund some of these plaques that we're putting on the homes. This one here, the Winford boarding house, is going to go on the two-story house that is across from the fire department. It's over by Penn Station, and that was 1918. And that's just something that we need to remind people. How many members do we have? We probably have a lot more than are active, but we have about a dozen active members that are part of the society. And then we have some people that are always interested in keeping our museum open. And a lot of people probably don't realize that on Tuesdays you could come to the depot and see our museum. We have enough volunteers that usually it is open on Tuesday. This is a Dunnellon museum. It is not a train museum. And people sometimes get a little confused about that, expecting us to have a lot of trains in here. But no, we want artifacts from Dunnellon. And like people from we have an old chair from the Parkview Hotel, which was in a hotel that was here. I actually vaguely remember seeing it as a child. The Southern Bell building is where the Parkview Hotel used to be, which was right across the street here from the depot. People have donated. We have a lot of photos. We have old newspapers. In fact, you could go in there. There's a newspaper article about my parents when they had sold our business. My parents used to own a fishing resort here in Dunnellon, and so they had sold it back in the 70s, and sure enough, there's papers in there. And I was a teenager back then, and we have that papers actually in the Historical Society. We don't have it at home, but it is here. So there's a lot of things in the depot, a lot of photos, and we're still looking for. Sometimes we have photos of people and we don't know who they are. So we've had a lot of the old-time people will come in and try to help us identify those names and those photos. Over the years, we've had people come and go through the Historical Society, and I think it's always important that we always get new groups of volunteers. So I would say, like any organization, we're always in need of additional volunteers. People that will come in and take over a part of something that we need done, preserving that history of Dunnellon.